Imagine walking through a prehistoric forest thousands of years ago. You are exhausted. Your lips are cracked from dehydration. Every step feels heavier than the last. Then finally, you hear it, water, a clear stream flowing over smooth stones. You rush forward, kneel down, and drink as much as you can. Cold, fresh, perfect, except it was not safe. For most of human history, drinking random water could quietly kill you. Rivers carried parasites. Ponds were contaminated by animals. Even crystal clear streams could contain bacteria your body had no defense against. Long before bottled water, filters, or even the idea of hygiene existed, early humans faced a terrifying problem every single day. How do you survive when the thing keeping you alive might also kill you? And the solutions they discovered were strange, brutal, and surprisingly intelligent. Because before modern civilization existed, humans had to become masters of survival hydration. Today, getting clean water is effortless. You twist a handle, press a button, open a bottle. But ancient humans lived in a completely different world. Finding safe hydration was a daily struggle that shaped migration, survival, and even human evolution itself. Some people survived by eating water instead of drinking it. Others learned to pull water directly from trees. Some tribes drank blood, and one accidental discovery may have helped build civilization itself. This is the unbelievable story of what humans drank before clean water existed. Before humans carried water in containers, many survived by getting moisture from food itself. In hot regions like the African savanna, open water was dangerous. Predators gathered around watering holes, and contaminated pools could spread deadly diseases. So early humans adapted. They searched for roots, fruits, and underground tubers packed with moisture. Some wild plants contain enormous amounts of water hidden inside their fibers. By chewing slowly for long periods, ancient humans could extract enough liquid to stay alive without needing large amounts of exposed water. It was not refreshing, it was survival. This knowledge became incredibly valuable during dry seasons when rivers disappeared and the land turned hostile. The people who understood plants survived longer than the people who did not. Eventually, humans discovered something remarkable. Certain trees could store huge amounts of water internally. In parts of Africa, massive baobab trees acted almost like natural reservoirs. Their trunks could hold enormous quantities of rainwater for long periods of time. For ancient communities, these trees became life-saving landmarks during droughts. In colder regions, humans discovered another trick. During early spring, trees like birch and maple pull water upward from deep underground. If the bark is carefully cut, liquid slowly drips out. That liquid contains water, minerals, and natural sugars. To early humans, trees were not just plants. They were survival tools. Imagine discovering that an entire forest was quietly carrying drinkable water inside itself. That knowledge could mean the difference between life and death. Now the story becomes much darker. When humans hunted across dry landscapes for days at a time, carrying water was difficult. Containers were limited, and reliable water sources were rare. So some groups turned to the animals around them. Certain ancient cultures drank fresh animal blood during extreme conditions because it provided hydration, nutrients, and calories at the same time. To modern people, this sounds disturbing, but to ancient humans, survival mattered more than comfort. Even today, some traditional communities in East Africa still mix cattle blood with milk during harsh drought periods. It is not done for shock value. It developed as a survival strategy over generations. Ancient humans understood something important. In desperate environments, survival often depends on using every possible resource available. For most mammals, milk is only useful during infancy. After growing up, the body naturally reduces the ability to digest lactose, the sugar found in milk. That means many adults in ancient times could become sick after drinking fresh milk. But then something extraordinary happened. A genetic mutation appeared in some human populations that allowed adults to continue digesting milk safely. This mutation spread rapidly because it offered a massive survival advantage. Milk was nutritious, relatively safe, and available even when crops failed or water became contaminated. In difficult environments, people who could drink milk had a better chance of surviving famine and drought. Over thousands of years, this tiny biological change reshaped entire populations. Even today, millions of people still cannot properly digest fresh milk, while others carry the ancient genetic adaptation that allowed their ancestors to survive. The discovery of fire changed human survival forever. Once humans learned to boil water, dangerous bacteria and parasites were completely destroyed, making the liquid safe to drink. But ancient people did not stop there. They began adding leaves, herbs, and plants into boiling water. Over time, humans discovered that certain mixtures could soothe pain, improve flavor, or help with illness. Archaeologists studying ancient remains have even found evidence suggesting Neanderthals consumed bitter plants with medicinal properties thousands of years ago. That means some of the earliest forms of tea or herbal drinks may be far older than most people realize. For the first time in history, humans were not simply reacting to nature. They were learning how to manipulate it. As villages and early cities grew larger, clean water became an enormous problem. Boiling enough water for entire communities required time, fuel, and constant labor. Then humans accidentally discovered something revolutionary: fermentation. When grain and water were left sitting together, natural fermentation transformed the liquid. The result was early beer. And ancient beer was very different from modern alcohol. It was often weak, thick, and consumed more for safety than recreation. The fermentation process helped reduce dangerous pathogens, making certain fermented drinks safer than untreated water sources. For many early farming societies, these drinks became an important part of daily life. In a strange way, one accidental chemical reaction may have helped large civilizations survive long enough to grow. Without safer liquids, early cities might have struggled to support massive populations. Today, clean water feels ordinary, but for ancient humans, hydration was one of the greatest survival challenges on Earth. They ate water from plants, pulled it from trees, adapted genetically to drink milk, boiled herbs over fire, and accidentally created fermented drinks that helped support civilization itself. The history of humanity is not just about weapons, kings, or wars. It is also about survival, about the desperate and intelligent ways humans adapted to a dangerous world long before modern comfort existed. So the next time you take a sip of clean water, remember, for most of human history, that simple act was never guaranteed. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more stories about the hidden science and survival history of ancient humans. And comment below, what do you think would have been the hardest part of surviving in the ancient world?
But honestly, we think we already know the answer, because there is one survival challenge we have not talked about yet. Something that killed more ancient humans than predators, starvation, or even war, and it was completely invisible. For thousands of years, humans had no idea it even existed. No smell, no color, no warning, just sickness, then death. We are talking about waterborne disease. Even after humans learned to boil water, built early cities, and developed farming, contaminated water silently destroyed entire communities. Ancient Rome built massive aqueducts stretching hundreds of kilometers just to bring cleaner water into cities. But even Roman engineers did not fully understand why certain water made people sick. They knew something was wrong, they just could not see it. In medieval Europe, the same rivers used for drinking water were also used for waste disposal. Cholera, typhoid, dysentery. These diseases were not rare tragedies, they were the constant background noise of daily life. Imagine growing up in a world where simply drinking water on the wrong day could end your life within hours. Children were especially vulnerable. Historians estimate that in many ancient and medieval societies, a significant portion of children never reached adulthood, and contaminated water was one of the leading reasons. Mothers watched their children carefully. Elders passed down knowledge about which sources were safer, which seasons were more dangerous, and which smells meant danger. This knowledge was never written down. It lived in memory, in tradition, in stories passed from generation to generation around fires at night. And yet despite everything, despite the parasites, the bacteria, the invisible dangers hiding in every stream and river, humans survived. They adapted, they experimented. They made mistakes and learned from them slowly over thousands of years. Every single technique we discussed in this video, the plants, the trees, the fermentation, the boiling, none of it was discovered in a laboratory. It was discovered through suffering, through loss, through generations of trial and error in an unforgiving world. So the next time clean water feels ordinary, remember the thousands of years of human struggle that made it possible. If this story changed how you think about something as simple as water, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more hidden survival history, and drop a comment which part of this video surprised you the most.